A call to the state's anonymous tip line for students led to the arrest of a student who allegedly had a gun on school grounds. That reporting system started in 2020. We've learned the number of tips have been going up.
Our Bella Caracta tells us how the Safe2Help tip line has thwarted potential safety concerns in our schools.
725 tips through Safe2Help this year, nearly double what it was in 2021, according to the Nebraska Department of Education.
A lot of times students may be concerned about being the face of information.
The anonymous tip line gives students the power. If they see something, they can say something.
Now that I think it is a tool that most community members know about, I think what we see is the information that is very valuable to us in terms of trying to keep kids safe.
The Director of School Safety and Security for the Nebraska Department of Education, Jay Martin, told 6 News that the jump in tips is largely attributable to more schools using the reporting tool. The top 3 concerns they get: bullying, suicidal thoughts or threats, and drugs.
We've had administrators, in terms of self-harm, make phone calls over the weekend, make phone calls at night to families because they've gotten that tip from Safe2Help.
Recently, a tip through the line alerted operators and then school officials and law enforcement of a student at Bennington High School allegedly flashing a gun in the parking lot and threatening other students.
Really, a tip is all we need. We thoroughly investigate those things that come to us through Safe2Help.
That student was arrested and booked into the juvenile center. On your side, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
The line is free to use through the phone, app, or computer. And according to the state, since the line launched in 2020, 37% of the reports came from high school students, 53% from middle schoolers.